but it's okay. Everyone is here now. Well, most of us. Presumably, Aladrin is having a difficult time moving and dying in a desert underneath a tree, and we'll come back to that later.
Uh, my first instinct when he was talking about moving was offering to help, but then I realized that he's like probably really far away.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's in another time zone.
Yeah,
So,
I would help if wasn't really far away, probably.
hmm
Or well, I would help as long as I didn't have to get up really early.
Yeah.
Last time I helped my sister move, I had to get up at like 9, and I was like so exhausted. I wasn't nearly as useful as I probably could have been.
my cheese knife does not look like that cheese knife.
Yeah, also, that's a fish knife?
It's kind of big for a fit. Oh, maybe it's for like carving.
Yeah, I was thinking for, boning a fish.
Yeah.
Yeah, because usually you want to use a much smaller, thinner knife,
Yeah, like that
like a
steak
fillet
knife.
knife. Yeah, or maybe even the cartilage as depicted as the cartilage knife. Oh, well, anyway, are we
Yeah,
ready to dive in?
Oh yeah.
is that right?
Cool. So, let's see. Ormus and Mollymort and Theon had, for their various own reasons, taken to the streets in a particularly jovial evening in the city of Hope. And for whatever reason, although it's probably some sort of demonic corruption spreading throughout their minds, but for whatever reason, everyone seems to just be having a good time out partying and relaxing through their own independent paths, well, somewhat independent paths. Oramus had met some random strangers on the street who were going to one bar, and through some encouragement and through some pushing of the words of his own, he got them to go to yet a different bar. And Mollymort, wanting to meet with a new friend, perhaps, and going to somewhere he said he may be, found herself at roughly the same bar. Theon accompanying, mostly, I guess, to just do something right now. Um, I suspect it would be partially just going out, but also possibly getting his mind off of the several stresses and the bloodlust, maybe for real. Why did Theon go to uh, the bar this evening?
Just to blow
The
off some
Iron
steam
Gentleman.
and just to blow off some steam and kind of relax without the weight of almost probably being hanging over his head.
He was tagging along with me.
Yeah.
All right, and that works fine too. Well, I knew he was tagging along with you, but it was mostly just if he had, well, his motives essentially why he tagged along. But that perfectly works fine. And let's see. Inside the bar remained Ormus and Fionn, and outside, Molly Mort had gone to speak with Gary, her guard friend, but had just heard a strange crash from the inside. On the inside, Oramus was acting as a kind of corner coach for Greg, some sort of a strange guard he had met who had been challenging people to arm wrestling for whatever reason, to maybe entertain himself as it was going. And Ormus, you noticed that he was continuing to arm wrestle, but as you had seen him all afternoon, he kept looking at his friend Shin, just constantly looking over, and she was constantly ignoring him. And this seemed to be a constant source of frustration for Greg. And it had gotten apparently to a certain point where Greg just got up, walked over to Shin, who she's talking to another guard in full uniform, and Greg just straight out punches him in the face.
I can't say that I blame him. That's for sure.
But as soon as he does so, and you all can react how you like, but most of the bar just figures, all right, well, this is going to be a good old-fashioned get it out of our system, rough and tough kind of, what are they going to do, call the guard because we're the guard? And most of the bar just moments later erupts into various fistfights and breaks and crashes and crunches.
The bards just start playing Ballroom Blitz.
Love
It does erupt. There is a bit of a tune that accompanies, and some hoots, and people are enjoying it quite a bit. There's the occasional glass being shattered and smashed around, not necessarily at anyone in particular, just someplace else other than where it was, mostly for effect. And, as I said, go on, Lee.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I legitimately thought you were done with the description. I was just asking if anybody had Tavern Brawler.
It's
Nope.
entirely possible, and a good portion
do not.
of and a good portion of the tavern here are guards anyway. So many of them in uniform. But as the melee breaks out, would Ormus or Fionn like to do anything?
I mean, guys will be guys. I'd like to say I want to stop it, but sometimes, like you say, you just got to get it out of your system.
Yeah, Ormus, high or low?
Low. I was going to suggest that I try and get the lady out real quick, kind of protect her a little bit.
All right. I'm guessing a 4 against your AC does a bit of nothing.
A whole lot of nothing, yeah.
You're able to quickly move out of the way as a drunken patron attempts to punch you on your left side. Fionn, would you like to do anything in this melee, or do you have any intention of doing anything?
So the guards. No, I actually never mind. Me as a player would, but me as Fionn as a character would not. He does not think it's wise.
But overall, he's just gonna stand there then, or does he want to get out of dodge, or what?
No, he's not going to stop it. But he's not going to get it. He's just going to watch.
All right, so he's just gonna stand still and do nothing.
Well, not
Okay.
stand still. I mean, I imagine he would kind of back up against the wall and get out of the way some.
All right, yeah, that's what I was asking. Like, what if you wanted to do? If you wanted to get away or do something? Yeah, okay. So, high or low?
Low.
All right. Yeah, you move against the wall, and you can see everyone else just sort of going about their business, including someone attempting to fight Ormus. Ormus, would you like to strike back?
Nah, I'm going to go try and get, what was her name again?
I don't know who you're talking about.
The lady. The Mrs. That's not a Mrs.
Ah, Shin.
Shin. Oh, that's actually going to be easy for me. I thought, for some reason, I was reverting back to a webtoon that I read. And I was like, no, that can't be it. That's just, no. But, hey, that'll be easy to remember.
No, I'm not referring to a webtoon.
No, you're not. I was.
Ah,
I was like, sounds really familiar, but no, it can't be that, no. But,
no,
eh.
Shin. S-H-Y-N.
Oh. Okay.
Huh?
The disdain with which you say webtoon.
I'm
Have you ever
not
seen
against it?
no.
There are very few things that I copy and play homage to. This is not one. These are unique and individual characters of my own making.
The spelling's very different, but one of the characters is named Shin-A. So when you said Shin, that's what I'm going to remember it as, more or less.
Fine. Yeah, whatever helps.
But yeah, I am going to try and kind of like scuttle her away from immediate danger, possibly outside.
She seems to be pretty focused on giving Greg a talking to after having knocked out a guard. You might even recognize, but Greg just... It's basically turned into Greg walked up, punched the guard, everyone else record scratch, screech, what the... And then all of a sudden, smash, crash, boom, crow, and eruption, all the while Shin is like, why did you do that? gives him a bit of a push, and he's just like, "What? It's that. Sorry, I'm drunk." But yeah, you can go over if you want, but they seem to be having words.
Yeah, I
And
will, and be like,
he did knock out the last person that had words with her. It's just at your risk.
I'm not worried about that at all. I'll
Okay.
go up to them both even and be like, best we have this conversation outside. Get the lady out of danger.
She seems offended at the suggestion that she's in danger, and she says, "Why don't you go outside and get out of danger?" And she,
Oh,
basically
I'm
turns
not in
back to her drink, still going right back to disagreeing with Greg, saying, "You can't just come up punching people every time I talk to a guy, etc." Did you attempt to get her attention again?
I'll kind of look at Greg and be like, could you, like, we should probably get her out before some drunken bastard falls into her and possibly hurts her.
Greg says, "Don't worry about that. Nobody's going to bump into her." Yeah, he's just saying, they're just letting out a little bit of steam. Ain't no big deal. And he also reaches around the bar and picks up a bottle of something and uncorks it and takes a good splash, offers it to you.
I mean, it's his funeral then, and I'll take a drink.
Mollymort, outside, you're with Gary, who is very surprised at all of the noise, and actually opens the door a little bit to see people just joyously beating the crap out of each other. Would you like to do anything?
Well, I have face palmed and groaned. I'm gonna look up at him, look in the door, and ask him, do you think I should do something? Should I break this up? I should probably at least make sure nobody dies.
He says that's probably. What could you do? And everyone else inside is just going crazy. You don't know how, but you're certain Ormus caused it. But anyway, go on.
I mean, that's to be assumed.
Yeah. When a problem occurs. But what would you like to do?
You gotta blame somebody.
Mhm.
One second. Looking at
Sure.
my spells.
Take your time. I'm imagining a sort of almost Scooby-Doo-esque situation where the door is opened and then Gary's head pokes in and then much lower Mollymort's head pokes in.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking too.
Yeah. And there's a whole bunch of people in there that are just like laughing with blood dripping out of their mouth and just having a good old fight. Just letting that stress out of there. You can see a couple of people go up, including one who smashes a chair over the back of Greg. And Greg, of course, just laughs and throws him behind the bar. Nobody seems to be messing with Shen, or at least hitting Shen. And there are some people that are just sitting around doing nothing, and there's certainly no harm. Ormus, high or low?
Low.
All right. You can see another fellow comes up, almost as if it's an attempt to stand against you with fists. But he sees that you're sharing a drink with Greg, and then he just turns to another guy and punches him instead.
If he would have attempted, I would have just kind of did one of those like finger like no, I wouldn't do that.
Yeah. Theon, from where you can see that the bards have they're backing away, and they are also against sort of opposite walls, close to the hearth, essentially, and they are just watching, trying to stay out of the way, dodging the occasional shrapnel, but seeming fine otherwise. Any intention, Mollymort? Any idea?
I'm gonna look at him and shrug. I could throw out some vines that might hold a bunch of people, or I mean, if I go in there, don't be alarmed if I come back out as a bear.
What?
It's really lethal.
Just immediately switch to well, we'll do something not too dangerous. Don't be worried if I become a bear. He's a bit confused at that. But it's no more than maybe 30 or 40 seconds after the ruckus has really started out, where simply by attrition, a number of the fights end because there's just less people to fight. As people settle down and relax a bit more, get that burst of energy out of them, or just go unconscious entirely.
Aldrin would have loved this.
Yeah, he would have.
Had everybody in the bar and then sit down for a drink.
After everything sort of settles down a little bit, the barkeep comes out. Apparently, he had gone into a back office as soon as everything broke out. And he came out a little bit and he said, "Okay, anybody that's unconscious, let's just drag them out. And guess what? Drinks are going to be more expensive." He basically starts to get a bit upset in that they're kind of ruining the night, but he doesn't want to pass it off too far. Just basically drag out the unconscious people, and we'll bill this to the guard something. Anyway, he explains.
Yeah, I'm gonna step in and say, don't worry about dragging them out. I'll take care of them. And I start going around doing cure wounds on anyone who's unconscious.
Now, I mean, you could see plenty of them are already trying to drag some out that are unconscious. It looks to be that there are 8 that are fully unconscious.
Yeah, Fion's
Does this also get rid of their drunkenness?
Fion's trying to grab a couple of unconscious guys and drag them out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can just get a few, let them go out. You can splash some water on them from the trough outside for any wayward animals, and you can just try and splash them awake. Make sure they're breathing.
Just picks up like 3 dudes and carries them all out.
How many do you help, Molly?
I'll do the 4 that look worst.
The 4 that are the worst?
Yeah, like any that might be in really tough shape, like they might be, I don't know, close to dying.
You can see a couple of likely permanent or at least serious head wounds from people who were either smashed with a wayward mug or bottle or jug, or perhaps hit something when they fell down. They definitely seem like they need the worst, the best, or rather, they are the worst. They need the best in healthcare.
Yeah, I'll definitely hit them with cure wounds first.
All right. Yeah, you can help them in your essential triage process in front of the Iron Gentleman. Now that the bar has settled down a little bit, you can see that there seems to be a kind of honor system that's come up, in that those that have won the fights are buying drinks for the losers, perhaps with expectations that the losers will buy drinks for the winners. But everyone seems to be buying more drinks, and it has resumed to be much more calm, albeit with slightly less tables and chairs and significantly more debris on the floor. And a few more bloodstains. But soon enough, the bards shrug and sort of resume play, and quiet conversation comes back. Still with bloody patrons, but they don't seem to care. You can only imagine what the rest of the city looks like. So, what would you all like to do?
Fiona will attempt to help clean up a little bit, just the debris, the broken stuff. Trying to be helpful to the bartender.
Yeah, I'll do mending on as much as I can.
You can mend and aid with some stuff as you can, but most of the patrons are just kicking the debris around. It's tough to see what is coming from where. They don't seem to have much in the way of a concern. They don't seem to have any concern right now, but it happens. But you can see that between Breg and Shin, there is still more arguing. They are trying to be a little more quiet about it, but they are clearly frustrated at each other. and it is making it so that people are kind of avoiding that area of the bar as they're going up to get drinks.
I'm gonna just sit there right there, continue watching, having drinks with Greg.
Eventually, it gets to the point where Shin says that she just doesn't want to be there, and she just begins to walk out, and Greg just follows her. Doesn't say anything, doesn't do anything, just follows her. The building returns to normal.
I was gonna say, as she starts walking away and him too, I'd be like, Jesus Christ, you think they just showed up and have sex already?
Jesus Christ, you'd think that he'd leave her alone already.
Yeah. That's the correct impression. Or possibly.
Strange view on things.
Well,
Anyway,
from what I got is that she's not opposed to him. They just argue.
you don't know what kind of relationship they got, but it doesn't seem to be working for either of them. But either way,
Yeah.
they have left. So what does everyone else want to do?
Or Gary? God, I keep getting him confused with the other guy that Molly's been talking to. Did he, whatever he grabbed from behind the bar, did he leave there, bring it with him, empty it out, finish it?
He walked out with it. Yeah.
Damn.
Didn't pay for anything, just walked out. There's always
I say
more
if
of
he
it.
fucking. Well, no, if he had just left it there, I'd be like, fucking free booze, hell yeah.
Yeah, but no, he walked out with it.
Shame.
Mm-hmm. And you, Molly Mort?
I'm walking up to Ormus and looking up at him with my hands on my hips.
I look down. What?
You had something to do with that, didn't you? The mind magic that you did at the gala.
I didn't do any mind magic at the gallows, and for once, believe it or not, no, I had nothing to do with this.
I do not believe you. I felt mind magic. I looked over at Theon. Did you feel mind magic? I thought I got a look from you that said you felt mind magic.
Well, I did, but I think he was just a conduit. Yeah, I don't think he was casting.
Then he should still be held responsible.
Well,
For what? I did nothing. You know magic as well as I do. I need some sort of focus. I didn't have anything. How am I going to do magic without focus? You saw how helpless I was before you gave me the wand. I didn't even have that. Which, by the way, thank you again. Here you go, and I'll give it back.
Did he not have that?
He did not have that.
All right.
They took all the stuff from us, remember?
Yeah.
Did they?
Yeah, Fiona had to hide his.
Yeah, I made enough of it.
I do not take the wand.
Molly, I don't think it was him in any way. It was probably, something more. I don't know that he asked for it, or because, I had the thing
If
happen
I did do
but
something,
it didn't come up. So
if I did do something, I had no recollection knowledge of doing such things. And if you don't believe that, well, I mean, I do apologize for doing it. I had no intentions of doing anything outside of my, actual physical powers, abilities.
The crowd was hanging on your every word. Whether you intended to or not, you definitely did something.
Well, I mean, you heard it before. Somebody was, a few of them were shouting out that I was hot. So
Yeah,
maybe they were just enthralled by that. And that was even before the trial started.
well, I mean, whether or not Ormus did something, and Ormus, I don't know what it was, but I believe that it wasn't you that did it, because I just got a feeling.
Thank you. At least somebody believes and has some faith in me.
But that's besides the point. I think what we need to focus on now is getting back that bow,
Getting the bow back.
and getting Bilra and Real back here, because yeah, we we need to, well, we out of
We need
character, have
Zoro. We
we?
don't need Rail.
Yeah, have we spoken to Bahamut since the like gallows scene?
Not really, no.
Okay.
I think so.
We need to speak to Bahamut as well to see if the plans have changed, if Bahamut used up, you know, a significant amount of power doing that, resurrection. Just see what Bahamut wants to do from here, but also that bow is obviously very, very important. So I vote to go have a chat with Bahamut and then get our ass on the road as quick as we can.
Yeah, I agree. I was kind of having some sort of hope that I'd find some magic user around here and maybe figure out who, if anyone, taught them. And if they did, they possibly might have had some higher form of power. And we might have gotten some stroke of luck, but I kind of got sidetracked.
Well, we should probably do that in the morning, but can I have one night of not chaos? No hard partying, please.
Of course,
My full intention was just here to get the note for Gary. Was a little bit better. He seemed like an interesting fellow, so I followed him here. I didn't expect him to be that passionate about women, but
What about Gary?
what up?
What about Gary?
Oh, I was just saying that I was coming here with him to get
With
to know him a little bit
Greg.
better, and
With
it
Greg.
was great.
Yeah.
I keep getting him and Gary mixed up. I don't know
It's
why.
fine. I gave them both G names. It was my mistake.
I don't know. It was just my intention to come here with him, get to know him a little bit better. He was a little bit more passionate about that woman than I intended, and then the chaos ensued. Wasn't my intention.
Alright, well, no more bar fights tonight, please.
I mean, if there is, I won't include you. I do plan on staying here for a little bit longer and possibly know some of the people here, see if they know of anything to do with, if anybody has the ability to possibly teleport us closer to Rail and Zora.
Alright, well, make sure nobody gets hurt too bad at least. I'm tired.
I don't intend to hurt anybody.
I'll keep an eye on him, Molly. I plan to have a few drinks myself. I just need to I need to relax a little bit.
Thanks, Tiny. I'm gonna pat his leg and then go back outside to see how Gigi's doing.
Yeah, it seems like Gary is talking with the guard. In fact, he's the sort of older guard that you saw him when you first met Gary. That's actually the guard that was with him, and they seem to be talking. And he is nursing a clearly broken nose. But other than that, he seems as if he didn't get hit at all.
Do you need help with that?
He looks at you, and what do you mean? He's holding his nose.
Your nose. It doesn't look. No offense, but it doesn't look so great. I can help.
He rolls his eyes a little bit.
I put my hands on my hips. What? You don't think I can?
I think I can meet better medics.
I beg to differ, and I am going to do 3rd level cure wounds on him.
Wow. You completely restore his injury. And he is very surprised to the point where he's kind of like booping himself to make sure it doesn't hurt.
By the way, I also took care of what's his name? Moss, the Moss guy. Pete.
Peter,
Peter. Yes, Peter. I took care of his eye too.
his eye, he's blind.
Yes, I took care of that.
you're how do you he boobs himself on the nose again.
I say magic and do minor illusion. Then lean up against the wall and take the bottle of wine back out of my hat and take a nice long swig.
He
All right, SpongeBob.
he practically tries to crawl like backwards a bit in fear, just shocked and surprised. And Gary's like, no, it's okay. She's really nice. It's okay. And he is very surprised. Like I've seen magic, I've heard of magic, but this is on a different level. This is a miracle. And he's just poking his nose.
No.
That's pretty basic, actually.
Miracles are restoring eyes, not a fucking nose or a lip.
Yeah.
He says, that's incredible.
What Bahamut did earlier today, that was pretty awesome. I can't bring somebody back alive as they were.
Well, yeah, I mean he's a god, he's an immortal god. That makes sense. You're just a girl.
Oh,
Excuse me?
A talented, miraculous girl.
Darn right I am.
Gary gives him a smile, pats him on the shoulder.
No. Did you have business to take care of, or can we enjoy a couple drinks together again?
He shakes his head and he says, no business, no business.
Okay then, if you'll excuse us.
Gary opens the door for you.
I walk inside.
He follows. So you and Gary enjoy a few drinks in a much calmer atmosphere. Do you? Okay. And Fionn, you also just have a couple of drinks?
Yeah, I just hang out around. Do keep an eye out on Ormus, you know.
And Oramus, are you cool? You gonna be cool?
You behave?
oh my god. Yes, I swear, masters.
Alright.
No, I go around asking if, the guards knew of anybody who was able to do magic around, other than Bahamut. Maybe even just simple kind of stuff. And start from there.
They give you basically the same couple of names, or really just kind of one particular name.
Particular.
Yeah. Hang on. Where did I write it down? Anyway, they give you one name, and they say that he's a pretty popular magician in the town.
Okay. Where would I be able to find him?
He said, yeah, you can usually you find him at one of the schools or the libraries. Calls himself Eodor the Great. And they always make like the same sort of you can tell in their gesture, the way they're saying it, that it's mocking. You imagine that he likely makes a similar gesture in the way that they make a like swirling motion with the hand. You suspect he probably
kind of mocking his introduction, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Kind of get a feeling that he's either a terrible magician or he's just
Obnoxious.
at best. Yeah.
Yeah, which is always possible. You never know.
Okay. Would you be able to write that in the chat, by the way?
Yes.
I was able to half hear / not.
Yep. And
It just sounded like one of those names where even if I tried to spell it, I'd probably say it wrong afterwards.
that's perfectly fine. I will put it in the game feed there. Eodor the Great or Eodor Wildcrest. They say that he's probably the most famous magician in the city.
Edor, okay. So I thought you said Theodore. Okay, cool. Theodore.
Yeah,
Theodore.
yeah, words, things. But yeah, Eodor the Great.
Cool. All right, so it's probably nighttime about now, so I'll have to wait till the morning when Theon and Molly go to talk to Bahamut.
Yeah, it's
Kind of
definitely in the evening. But speaking of, how late do you all stay? How late do individually wise, like Ormus? Nothing really seems to happen, and as you ask the people, you just get roughly the same similar answers. As the only one that they all seem to know by name, Theodore the Great, or
Okay.
Theodore, that wild guy. Anyway, go on.
Well, since you said that that's the one that they like seem to know by name, possibly anybody else who they might know around town who could possibly use magic, cantrips, incantations, anything like that. Even if they don't know the name, possibly where I could locate them.
Yeah, they don't really know.
Okay. Well, Edor's a great start.
I'll probably stay a couple hours after nightfall.
How long does it know? Would you say that it takes me to figure out that name? Because I'd probably sit around and talk with Fionn afterwards, discuss what I found.
In terms of learning the name, I mean, no more than 2 or 3 people in. Like, hey, you know anybody that knows magic? Nah. You know anybody that knows magic? Know anybody that knows magic? Yeah, Eodor the Great, or something along those lines. Like, it's
Cool.
pretty quick.
Okay. And then go around asking a couple other people in case they come up with a different name, and with same results, I'll just sit around with Fionn. Like, well, seems to be only one person around here that might know magic, other than Bahamut.
What do you mean, no magic?
Like us, maybe. They say he's a magician. His name is Eodor the Grey, and I'll do it exactly the same way they do it.
Mm-hmm.
I'll probably start, go up to him tomorrow, find him if I can, talk to him, see where he might have learned his magics, and try to find somebody who can possibly teleport us right to Rail.
And where exactly did you find this name?
Just talking around the guards.
And you said his name was...
Tomorrow I'll go confirm.
And you said his name was Eodor the Great, and Theon does
Eodor. Yep. Nothing beyond that. I asked if they possibly knew anybody else, and came with pretty much nothing. So we'll see.
I don't... I hate to say this, but I got a feeling he doesn't actually have any magic the same way we do.
Yeah, I'm kind of getting that feeling, but like I said, it's a start. It's something. Trying to make our trek a little bit easier is all.
Yeah, no, I completely understand.
I got a feeling this guy's either a phony or a party magician.
Yeah, that's what I'm...
Birthday parties.
That's what I'm getting the feeling of. He does a little sleight of hand, probably.
Some parlor tricks, yep.
But
we'll see you in the morning.
How late is Molly staying?
Probably a good while if Gigi was hanging around with.
He'll hang around, but he doesn't drink much, and you can see he yawns a bit. You think he's more of like a morning shift guy, but he tries to stay up and play it off and hide his yawns. But you can see that he switches to from what was essentially a weak beer to basically water pretty quick.
Yeah, I won't keep him too long then.
but he'll stay as late as you do. Just might fall asleep on the way home.
Oh no.
I think I might even make sure he gets home all right, because I enjoy his company. It's nice being around somebody normal for once.
I'm curious. to
We're
how
as
that-
normal as it gets. Come on now.
Go on,
I'm just,
Lee.
I'm just curious to how that conversation goes. They're like, I think I'm gonna take you home.
Well, actually, as a matter of fact, he insists on escorting you because, you know, he's a guard and it's dangerous.
Gentlemen.
I heavily decline and tell him that if he's really worried about it, I can go home as a cat or something, so these people won't pay me any mind.
He
Or a
accepts
bear.
that
People won't
and is
fuck with a bear.
amazed. Yeah, he accepts that and is amazed. So,
Alright, then yeah, I'll make sure he gets home alright.
okay.
And then I'll probably rejoin you too.
After ditching the lightweight.
Oh,
He's sure he got home alright and is
That's fair. That's fair.
taking care of himself.
I mean, we still can. You still can. You could just turn into a cat and follow him.
Oh, I'll take him home.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, and you can go back if y'all are going to be there for a couple of hours. Then that's not a problem.
Yeah, she can always come back and get us too. She
Yeah,
knows where we'll
I'm
be.
heading back to you guys.
We're two capable, edgy warlocks. Don't worry about us.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm a gnome.
So,
Fucking death gnome with fire.
what do y'all do or talk about? Staying into the bar, or how long do you wait if you want to skip ahead?
Well, I figured that conversation would take up the better part of the night, and however long that we decided to stay.
Yeah, probably just talk about, our plan for the morning, which I'm assuming is go speak with Bahamut, then try and catch up with Real and Zilra.
Yeah, oh boy, that's going to be a fun conversation with Bahamut. We'll get it over with as soon as possible.
Alrighty. Well, I guess when y'all do you go back to Irini's house after, or?
Yeah, I would think so, yeah.
Yeah.
I assumed we'd go back to the cabin, but that's closer and better.
Wherever y'all want to go.
I say Irini's.
Right? Yeah. Okay, we'll go.
All right. Business being settled at the tavern, you're able to go to Irini's and get yourselves a long rest. What's the first step in the morning? Find Bahamut?
Yes.
All right. Irini, the last place she saw Bahamut, he was with the queen. So he basically seems to be setting up a new quarters in the second palace, the second building.
All right, then I imagine we'd probably head there.
Yeah.
Oramus, do you want to come with us, or do you want to go investigate that lead?
I'm going to go check out Edor.
All right, meet back here in, let's say, 2 hours.
Irini
Yeah.
asks if you would do something very important.
Of course.
She goes up into the sort of high loft space of the building and opens a hidden compartment, and inside is an egg glowing with a faint pink glow. This crystalline jewel that you know is the kind of prison slash savior of the soul of Bahamut, which currently is occupied with the soul of Mika. Presumably, that's the pinkish glow. And she says if you would take this to Bahamut, it'll be safer, and he's safer being near it. But she doesn't feel comfortable taking it herself.
We will guard it with our lives.
She thanks you.
Fionn takes it and kind of puts it in a like a, trying to think of a way to say it, a safe spot in his in his bag, like a pocket or something. I don't know how, I'm struggling with words today. I apologize.
That's fine. I'll add that this thing, it's a pretty large crystal. Imagine something like the size of a peanut butter jar. Like it's roughly that size. It's like not quite an ostrich egg, but it's a pretty big sized jewel that is again like the shape of an egg.
Yeah.
And you can see Irini waves at it as you put it away.
I give her a little pat on the back.
And she looks at you a bit puzzlingly, like why you're comforting her.
I'll take care of it.
She nods. She says it's just very important. And also, of course, remember that that's Mika, of course, too. And she's here just the same as anyone else. She sees and hears through it. So be nice to it, too.
Understood.
She nods. Alright, so.
You're making quite a bit of noise there.
A little bit of clinking, yeah.
Alright, that's me and the other one. Hold on.
So. Heading off to the palace?
Yes.
Alright. You know that the one that the king occupied is known as the Ashara, essentially the heart, the stone heart of hope. And this other building is not really named, it seemed. And of course, it gets its name from a phrase that's engraved in Draconic above the doorway that leads into the large tower. This second building is identical in construction, but except for that engraving, almost mirrored in its way. But as you approach the inner gate of Hope, you'll be welcomed in, and you'll be able to choose which building you want to go with and go to. And presumably you're going to go to the Queen's Palace to try and find Bahamut.
Correct.
Okay. When you enter, it's devoid of the retainers that are constantly within the lobby of the King's Palace, almost as if for atmosphere. You can see that it also has a fountain in the center of it, but this fountain is not active. And where before there had been large boxes as if for storage, there are still some boxes, but they seem to be being moved out, while yet different boxes are being moved in. And as opposed to before, where this was essentially just warehouse space, you can see that furniture is being moved in. And you can see scaffolding being erected in the center courtyard, although it's currently unoccupied. You don't see anyone, I'll add.
Well, that's disappointing.
Yeah, but it is only the lobby. You know that there's a long winding staircase that goes around the sort of the middle of this palace. as it winds up in this large donut shape. And you have been to the other one enough to know which one was the queen's room. You also know which one was the king's quarters. You don't really know a lot of the other rooms. And of course, you know where the secret passage is. Do you want to look in what would be the mirror of the king's quarters or the queen's quarters, or just start knocking on doors, or start yelling?
The queen's quarters, right?
Yeah, I would think so.
But recall, in the other palace, of course, the queen's quarters was the secondary, while the king's quarters were the superior. Would she choose the second room in this palace that is her own now?
That's true. We'd probably go for the top one.
Or would she give that to Bahamut?
Well, then we should still go for the top one, I guess.
Yeah.
Or would Bahamut be humble and take a mere broom closet while she takes both, and that's what the scaffold is? Okay, the mind game aside, you knock on the first door, and the queen does answer it. Herself. No retainer.
I look very awkward because, of having given up the secret to Bahamut.
And almost getting her killed.
Yeah, and that. But also saving her, in a way. Not really. But
Molly pretty much saved her. Yeah. And
helped.
everybody did. Like Molly did the big thing.
Yes, and she does greet you both warmly, all the same, giving essentially what could be considered a polite hug, and inviting you both in.
Thanks for the invite, but I think we're just mainly looking for Bahamut here.
Oh, all right.
I mean, no offense, we have business to take care of still.
I see. Well, he's next door, and she gives a forced smile and motions down the hall.
Theon, you want to go talk to Bahamut while I hang out with the queen?
Sure. Yeah, whatever works.
I feel like things should be discussed anyways, so it's for the better, right? Yeah, let's go.
And yawns. Yeah, sounds good.
Okay,
And,
then step in with the queen.
I'll head
All
over and knock on the door that is proposed to be Bahamut's.
Okay. The queen will go over to a refreshing tray, and will prepare a bit of a platter of basically dried fruits and some kind of a seasoned bread that's maybe just starting to go a little stale, and tea that seems like it's better cold, although it is a little bit spicy, odd as that seems. But she will make a refreshing tray for basically refreshments for you and her, Molly Mort. And Fionn, you want to go essentially following the rounding corridor around the palace to the room that is the equivalent of the queen's or the queen's previous chambers in the other tower. And you can give a knock on that if you like.
Yes, I will do so.
And after a few moments, Mika answers.
Hello, Mika. I stopped by to, discuss plans and such before we head out to go retrieve Zil and Real and Zilra.
She says the secret's out. You don't have to call me Mika anymore.
Okay, I just didn't know what the preference was. I figured I'd be polite. That's good to know.
She nods.
All right. Can we discuss? Because I'm not trying to rush you or anything. I would just like to get on the road. Every hour between us and them.
Of course. She steps aside and opens the door a little bit wider for you.
I'll step through and and just take a couple of steps and wait for her to point out whatever she wants to do.
She looks at you expectantly.
Um, well, we stopped by to Molly's in the other room with the Queen, by the way. We stopped by to discuss what the plan is now that the secret's out and such.
She says, "The plan is now I will do what I can to protect this city, and you all, I hope, will continue to do what you can to get my body back so that we can be better prepared to defend these people."
Of course. I was also wondering if you had any way that we might close the gap between us and Real and Zilra, because honestly, those are our only leads that we have so far as to get your body back.
She's kind of, eyes closed, a bit of a cant to the neck. She doesn't really seem to follow what you're talking about.
Um, what I mean is, if you now in your position with the Queen would have any magic or resources, I mean, hell, the fastest horses we can get, or whatever, that would help us
For
to go retrieve Zil and wait, Real and Zilra.
Real Renzilra, yeah.
They are. Is that we scryed on them a couple of days ago, and they were in a carriage heading where we presumed to be away.
So they've run away? Or were they kidnapped?
No, they were in a carriage. Real seemed to be very dressed to the nines. So, of
Well, it's unfortunate, but if that's their will,
course, and I mean, if they want to leave, but I have to get that bow back, and we have to do what we can about getting your body back. So,
I see. The bow would be very helpful in the fight, for sure. And it's certainly not his to have. You can retrieve it, but if they don't wish to help, we should not force them.
oh, of course, I don't plan on forcing anyone. I just plan to appeal because Zilra Real can run off. He knows, or excuse me, we know that he doesn't want to be with us, hanging out with us.
Like, he ran off after we tried. Well, what we attempted to do was give him a chance to redeem himself.
Well, I guess in his mind, redeeming himself was getting the bow back.
Correct.
Yeah, I guess that's right.
Because remember, his shame is in the defeat.
Yeah.
Getting it back is his redemption.
Well, I mean, I definitely get the logic there for him, but I think, well, if Lee had any part of this, he would think, okay, so instead of taking this opportunity to redeem himself, he was a coward and ran away, because that's kind of the mindset of, well, that's my mindset, and that would be more of like a lawful mindset, I think.
Yeah,
Fion thinks very much the same thing.
He doesn't have to help. We appealed to him for help, and he decided that he didn't want to.
Yeah, if Fion's mindset is he's gonna say, "Hey, you can come back with the bow and help us, or I can take the bow from you, but I'm taking the bow either way." You know.
Well, Mika will inform you that there are royal stables, and that she thinks that the queen should be able to authorize you to take a horse and then also exchange it at various guard posts along the way to make the fastest travel possible in whichever direction they went, assuming that there are guard posts in that direction. Beyond that, she says that she's not sure if she's willing to send a dragon after them, but if it does come to that, maybe, but she would rather not. If they chose to go willingly, at most, Real is a thief, and a thief is not worth a dragon.
Oh no, of course. I didn't expect the dragon to be sent. I just meant, fast horses and, maybe uh
Possible.
yeah, well maybe what's the word? Free passage to be paid back at a later date, just to expedite things.
And she says the queen should be able to authorize a horse.
Okay. I mean, we probably need two because I imagine Molly could ride with Ormus or I, but I imagine that's probably not a huge issue. Just in the sake of clarity. If that's all, if you'd like to discuss it with the Queen with me, then yeah, you're more than welcome to join us, obviously. But if that's all that we need to speak of, then I will go back and let the Queen know of what we discussed and what our plans are to go catch Real and Zilra.
She nods and she says, "Is there something you're forgetting?"
The egg.
Oh yeah,
She looks down at the at where you have hidden it on you
I
and smiles a little.
yeah. Oh, I'm so sorry. I've been very single-minded to get this bow, and as I'm talking, I'm reaching into my bag for it to get this bow back, and I apologize so much. Here you go.
She takes it
Make
from you.
sure you wave back to Mika.
Yeah, she takes it from you, and she smiles and says, "Hello, old friend," and whispers to it essentially, and takes it over and places it carefully in the middle of the bed, and says, "All right, let's go talk to the queen." On the other room, Mollymort, you have come into the room with the queen, and the queen has prepared refreshments. Would you like to talk to about anything, or?
I would start by saying, Queen Anna, you know the way to my heart, and I will gladly take the tea and snacks, and I will hand her a bottle of honey you know, as an offering to show my appreciation.
She will accept it happily and will, in fact, add some to her tea and will offer you some as well.
I will I will share it with her and spread a little bit on the seasoned bread as well.
It's quite an interesting twist of flavor and texture. The bread itself is, you think that it's made to go along with this sort of cold yet slightly spicy tea as something as to sort of mildly mix in the kind of flavors. It's got a strong, salty. You think that it's, in terms of seasoning, you think it's some sort of rose infused or some sort of flour infused salt that's been applied as the main seasoning on this bread that again is somewhat chewy, and the honey added in with the salty flavor. It's definitely, you got kind of a party going on in the taste buds, but it's not a bad party, that's for sure.
Nice.
Yeah, it's a very different sort of a flavor, but that all goes. And
And I'll casually chat with her, saying like, "Yeah, I'm happy that I went exploring. I've gotten to taste a whole lot of new things, and I think that here in Hope has had the best flavors that I've experienced in my travel."
and she says, well, that comes along with the human senses. Dwarves underground don't really care about what they have, and elves being a little too sensitive. And my understanding of gnomes, no offense, a lot of it is about quantity over quality. But here we do pride ourselves on variety.
Well, no offense is certainly taken. I do very much like it here. I do like a lot of things, as in like I do like a lot of something, but it's definitely nice to have something that tastes so great.
I'm glad you enjoy it. We try to have quite a few different delicacies, and I think I've tried just about everything that the human palate can create.
Well, if I go back down to the regions of different races, I might try to find something a little more interesting that you might not have tried before.
I would be greatly appreciative of new and interesting flavors.
Absolutely, glad to share. And thank you for these, by the way. They're quite nice.
Of course. Although I wasn't quite sure how to breach this, but we might as well just speak of this plainly. This situation, everything that's occurred recently, while it ended up going hopefully a good direction, I'm definitely, I find myself upset at you all. I hope you understand.
Absolutely, we did kind of make a promise. And I never intended to break that promise, and I apologize. But at the time, Bahamut was pushing, and I was honestly just finding myself very frustrated with the whole situation.
She nods and she says, and one day, hopefully, I will be able to fully forgive you all for that. And for now, I'll try not to let my feelings interfere with my duty. And I hope you all do the same as well.
I personally have no hard feelings, and I very much respect that you are approaching the subject in the way that you are.
Good. Now, all of that being said, of course, my campaign to do what was entrusted to me um, by my husband's father when he asked me to be queen. There was a symbol of the family, and I probably shouldn't have even lent it to you.
Oh, the eye, right. Yes. 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 Of course. Here you go. And I hand back the eye of a shot.
She smiles seeing it, and she says, "Thank you for understanding. This was given to me by Atlas before he died. Did you know that?"
I did not know that.
Yeah, she says he didn't even know how long his family had had it. But it was one of many secrets, I think, that went with him. And hopefully, one day we might find some. And I just wonder every day what he would do if he were here. And she clasps the silver chain behind her neck again and looks at it before putting it away in her uh, very conservative but comfortable tunic.
Well, I certainly didn't know him, but I'd like to think he would have been proud of you.
She smiles, and you can see her eyes water up a little bit.
All
And
things considered, I think you handled this about as well as could have been handled.
she says, as kind as those words are, I'm not sure they're correct, but thank you.
Well, in any case, that eye has helped a lot in our ventures to get what we needed. And
You hear a knock on the door.
come in?
Fionn, do you go in?
Yes, yes, I do.
All right. In walk Mika and Fionn.
Oh, good, it's just you. I was kind of worried that it might have been like guards or something, and this.
Yes, Penny's revenge.
This might have looked conspiratorial.
Yes, it's significantly less conspiratorial now, apparently.
Still.
But Fionn, you can see that Mollymort and the Queen are sitting at basically some. I'm imagining something akin to like an opium den sort of display, or maybe like a more Western or rather Eastern style kind of a round table with sitting cushions. That's essentially what I was picturing in terms of where Mollymort and the Queen were. So anyway, something that doesn't interfere with Mollymort's height. It's respectful.
Wonderful.
Yeah, no climbing into chairs or anything. Like I said, seating cushions essentially where the Queen's just, seated there across from you on a small table, and a refreshment plate of tea. And when the Queen sees you all come in, she just begins to pour two more cups, I should add, and puts them down on the table.
Fionn, it's worth mentioning to you, as soon as, so you don't go expecting it. I did give her back the eye, so we can't use that anymore.
All right. Um. Well, what we came to discuss was that we need, very quick horses and a way to catch up with Rill and Zerl, which I meant to ask you. Um, and he nods at the Queen. When we scryed on them and saw where they were going, Rill was dressed to the nines. I'm curious as to if there's anything going on with that you know of.
Well, I know a little bit about that. The way he got the bow was he walked in there looking very fancy and looking like he was very high up. So I imagine he might have kind of just been able to talk big and make himself sound important and being able to kind of walk right in and take the bow.
The Queen says, "Actually, I do know a little bit of something about that.
Oh, really? Okay.
I wish I had figured it out before." He, obviously by bluffing or something, had come in and convinced the guards that he was a diplomat here to make a trade deal, and he had been kidnapped by you all, and that he wanted his assistant freed, and he even convinced my. You can see that she's resisting insulting Kia, her husband, and she simply says, uh, "My king even gave them a good amount of gold,
Oh
and
boy.
to make up for it and try and save a non-existent trade deal, I suspect."
Oh geez. I mean, I kind of respect him going in and making himself sound big and important, but he kind of threw us under the bus there, it sounds like. I mean, what's a bus? I don't know. No such thing exists.
He threw us under the ox.
Yeah, right under the cart, both wheels.
Well, either way, we need to be able to catch up with him, so.
Of course. What can I do to help?
Quick horses, and Mika mentioned, or sorry, Bahamut mentioned that you might be able to send word to guard outposts along the way so we can get fresh horses and not slow down.
And she says, "Unfortunately, we won't be able to send word. We don't really have much in the way of a messaging system. You would likely be the first one to get there, but I can give you a royal writ." And she goes over to a desk and begins to write out essentially an order for horses and fresh horses and provisions for horses, and gives it her seal that is unchanged from the king's seal. And who knows if that's going to be a problem, but you suspect that she'll probably have her own royal seal soon enough in this sort of odd dual rivalry, double monarchy thing. But
When the kingdom's mom and dad are getting a divorce.
it's
Yeah.
basically, yeah. It's a tale of two monarchs. No real telling how this is gonna go, but it's probably not gonna continue well. But anyway, so
She's
she
thinking
gives you
to
this.
change her last name back.
Think
Yeah,
the you think the kingdom is gonna get visitation with the king on weekends, or how's that gonna work?
yeah. Everyone's gonna start just getting really excited for two Christmases. Yeah, I don't think that's what's gonna happen.
Well, that actually does relate to my next question for them both. So now that the things that have happened. How is rule gonna work now? How the ruling of the kingdom?
She says, "Well, we need to talk about it more, but hopefully I will take care of things within the city and he can worry about things outside of the city. He'll worry about trade and he can even go out and see the world, as I know he does want to do, and I can protect and defend the city as I want to do."
Well, while he isn't as professional, he does seem to be have his own sort of charisma, I guess. So I guess that seems like it'll work well.
She rolls her eyes. You
Anyways,
Mika finishes off the spicy tea.
Fionn just having asked everything he wants to ask, now takes part in the tea.
Yeah, it's good. I mean, it's okay. It's a black tea, and it's strangely spicy. Not super spicy, but it definitely has an immediate bite. It's not like a slow burn like some things where you drink it and then a couple 6 or 8 seconds later it hits in. As soon as it hits the mouth, it's just warm, almost like pepper, like almost like it's a black tea made from black pepper, but probably not. It doesn't have the flavor of texture or the flavor of pepper. It's just the warmth, the immediate warmth of pepper.
I make sure to give him some of the bread to try with the tea.
Yeah, I was gonna say as soon as Fionn tastes it, he starts asking about it. Like, what? How do you get this? How do you get the spice in the tea? I'm curious.
It's delightful, right?
She says it's part of the mix of the herbs that it's blended with. They make it all night, and it's meant to be drank cold, and it works pretty well during the summer, as strange as it is having the heat. But something about drinking the heat makes you cool, and while it's not quite summer yet, it, I used to drink it a lot as a child. Bit of a comfort drink.
Understandable.
Fionn says, I would kill for the recipe, the blend of herbs. This, I could imagine plenty of uses, pairings for this.
And she goes over to a wardrobe, opens it, and then in what is likely to be, for the most part, for accessories or jewelry, she withdraws a light leather pouch and comes over and holds it out to you. It says, "My gift."
Thank you so much. And he pockets it and he finishes his cup with the bread. That's all I had in mind to discuss. Wanted to make sure everything was going to be okay here.
She
We
nods and she says, "I have no idea if it will be, but
Well, I mean, we plan on returning because I proposed side of Bahamut or not Bahamut. That wasn't in character. That was a me fuck up. Tiamat attack. But we could be gone for probably up to a week, I would imagine.
My understanding it is we have quite a bit of time. I'm sure very little will have changed in a week.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure there wasn't any.
At that, Bahamut says, "Imagine if we had said that last week," while pouring himself or herself some more tea, and then the queen nods. Touche.
Molly, is there anything else you can think of that we would need to discuss before we head out?
That's all I can think of.
Yeah, Theon stands up and does a little bow. I would like to say I'm deeply sorry for how things went down. I very much so wish it could have went a different way. And I understand if you have any um, grievances with us, but I rest assured, we will do our best to keep this city and the world, in fact, safe.
The queen nods.
I stand up and bow as well. Thank you for your hospitality. You have my deepest respect. And again, thank you so much. I'm sorry about, yeah, things that I've done, but um, I, I'm glad I at least had enough faith in Bahamut. Sorry again. Thank you. Bye. And I'm gonna turn
There's
it, kind of
a,
awkwardly walk out.
yeah, there's a bit of a side glance between Mika and the queen as they both share how awkward this is.
I should say, in case you want me to roll, Fionn is not sorry. Like he feels she shouldn't have put them in that situation to protect the world, and this is just him being polite.
And as in, like, you want to be deceptive?
I mean, yeah, he's just being polite with this. He does not mean it whatsoever.
Molly absolutely means it.
In face.
Yeah, if Fionn is trying to seem as if he's sorry without being sorry, then yes, please roll a deception check
I think that's
against the passive insight of Bahamut and the queen.
see if I can remember how to do this. Backslash 11.
Okay.
Very awkward.
Well, one can only imagine how they took that. And whether or not they believed his insincere sincerity.
I mean, just for insight into how I meant it. Theon is sorry about what happened to Bahamut, but not to the Queen. He feels like a lot of this is the Queen's fault.
Hmm. And that's fair. It is accurate.
They can detect the bit of the edge in his voice as he's just kind of obviously just saying it to save face.
Hmm.
I'd imagine.
All right. But after that, do you show yourselves out?
Yes, I
Yeah.
make things a little bit awkward, so I'm definitely leaving.
All right. Any other business to take care of in the building?
I think not. Molly, did you need to see Jesse and Walt for something? I thought I remember that coming up a couple of sessions ago, but I can't happen.
Maybe I don't recall. Not that I recall.
Okay, I must just be misremembering. And nah, I think we're good here.
All right.
I'm
Let's see.
gonna keep an eye out for Gigi as we head back out, though.
Okay. You do see him. He is one of the two guards that are flanking the doors of the main palace of the Ashara.
All right, I'm gonna stop and look up at him. Um, it was nice talking to you last night. I'm glad you got home all right. I'm probably gonna be gone for a couple weeks, so don't bother looking for me. So don't worry about me.
Are you kind of shouting this across the courtyard, or you go over and talk to him?
No, I'm going over to talk to him.
Okay, because it was about to get really weird and funny. But okay, that's fine. Yeah, you can go over and talk to him, and he'll nod along, and he said, I had a good time too.
It was nice to feel kind of normal for once. It's been a while.
You can see that it's almost heartbreaking for him to hear that, but he nods. Like that's really sad that you need him for the normal, but he's happy at the same time. But it's a strange mix. He just feels sad that that's the situation that you are in.
I'll be sure to visit you again when I'm back, alright? If I have the time. I hope I have the time. I'll definitely at least find the time in the evenings, and I might stop by the Iron Gentleman, was it called?
He nods. He says, "Yeah, that's the place. It's not usually like last night. I don't know what that was about."
I have my suspicions about what that was about. And yeah, I don't expect it to be like that again.
He nods.
I'll see you another time then. Bye.
But bye. And he
I wave
waves.
and run back to Fionn.
So, Oramus, you're on a trek to find a magician.
Yeah, after contemplating it, thinking about what me and Theon talked about, I was just like, you know what? Fuck it. And I just probably end up meeting them at the Castle Gates or something.
Okay.
I wanted to be this wizard.
Huh?
Right?
I will say
What's
we did say we were going to meet back at Areni's in 2 hours, so.
Yeah, but if
Yeah,
he just says "fuck it" and just waits for you at the castle gates,
Well, I wouldn't wait for them there. I'd probably, by the time that I decided to say fuck it, would have turned around. I know they went up to the castle, so I figured by the time they talked then, me saying that, getting to the castle, I'd probably end up meeting at the gate.
all right.
I kind of wanted to meet this Igor. No, that's not right.
Yeah, Eodor the Great. Yeah. Okay.
Me too.
Fionn and Molly when you step out, when you leave the small portcullis of the inner gate
If
of
not, just
the
use
city of Hope,
cantrips.
yeah, you can see Ormus just chilling there, kicking rocks, hands in
Well,
pockets, looking emo.
like I said, I wasn't going to wait for them. I just figured by the time that they talked, I decided to say fuck it, turned around, that we'd probably meet up at the gate. But if they're probably still talking, I would have full on Nintendo. Queen. Or Bahamut.
Oh, so you weren't gonna wait? You would just go in and try to talk to them too?
Yeah, if I was going to get as far as I could into the castle before I met up with them, and I just assumed that by the time that I said fuck it, turned around, got to the gate, they'd probably be leaving as well. Kind of like, oh shit, I didn't expect to run into you here. That deal.
How far into your search did you say fuck it?
20, 30 minutes.
But did you even ask a single person?
Probably not.
All right. So you just walked to an area of town you thought he might be, asked no one, and then left. Cool. All right. Let's see here. So you spent about 20 or 30 minutes looking, and then the time it takes to walk there, the time it takes to walk back, they didn't spend that long in there. So Mollymort, Fionn, after you've gone in to talk to the Queen and Bahamut, what would you like to do?
There we go. Sorry, my phone fucking disconnected.
It's okay.
I would imagine that, Fionn would be adamant about just going back because he really wants to get on the road quick as possible. Going back to Areni's to meet.
Areni's?
Yeah.
So we're going back to Rainey's?
Well, they are. You
Okay.
didn't get there before they left. They weren't in there for too long.
Oh, okay, cool. So I would have
Uh,
gotten to the queen's room and everything.
well, not necessarily. I mean, we'll get to that in a moment. But Molly
That's
Morton, Theon, you go back to Arenes. No other business to settle. Just checking.
Yeah, Theon would head straight back if Molly had anything to take care of. He'd probably just head back without her.
Okay. Ormus, you get to the gate of the inner wall of the City of Hope, and you can see that the guards are eyeing you a bit, but they don't stop you from going in.
I'm gonna give him a smart ass smile and a wave.
All right, once you're in, you see the palace to the left, the Ashara, the home of the king, and then you can see the far off in the far right, the other identical palace that probably houses the queen now, because from your understanding from Irene, she's moving in there. So you want to go to the second palace and see what's going on there?
Yeah, see if I can't find the queen.
Okay. As you walk to it, you can still see several guards walking by as they're leaving the sort of guard complex, eyeing you, not stopping you, but very suspicious. And when you get to the lobby, you see roughly the same as they saw boxes, uh, some from previous storage, some are new, still under construction, etc. The same thing they saw, as I described to them. And you can go up the stairs. Do you want to go to the first room, which is the large one, or rather to the king's quarters, I should say, not necessarily the first room, the king's quarters, or what would be the mirror of the queen's quarters, or do you have another plan in mind? What would you like to do?
What I would assume would be like the quarters, like the area,
The queen's quarters or the king's?
queens.
Okay. And knock on the door.
Yes.
All right. Knock, knock, knock. No response. Silence.
No response. Any guards around?
Nope, not that you've seen.
Ah, shit. Well, I definitely don't want to step in the king's quarters because, well, he kind of hates me.
Well, I'll add, you're in a separate palace. So you're pretty sure the king is still in the other palace. There's
Yeah,
two identical towers, and the king's still probably in the one on the left, and the one on the right, you think the queen's moving in there, but you went to the chambers, what would be the mirror of what the queen's chambers were in the left tower. There's no answer on the door in the right tower.
no assistance, no anyone.
You've not seen a soul.
All right,
Even the
just
fountain,
boxes.
which
Okay.
bubbles and chimes and sparkles in the left tower, is silent and quiet. And, well, both those and combined, plus dark in the right tower.
Okay. I'll step out, see if I see anyone. Maybe moving boxes, walking away.
You see no one whatsoever.
Wow. Just when I'm looking for somebody, I don't find anyone. All right.
To be fair, you've actually never seen anyone in this tower before. And you have come in here once or twice to use the secret passage to get to the bunker underneath the towers. But you've never seen anyone in here. Things have moved around for the first time from your knowledge of this place, for all you know, for years. But you've never actually seen anyone here.
Gotcha. Well, I was just saying that I see guards walking past me as I'm coming here, but now I'm looking for somebody. Nobody's around.
Well, it's because you got to go past the guard complex to get here, and so
Yeah.
they saw you there. Yeah, and
Okay.
you can if you go outside and you look towards the guard complex and towards the gate or towards the other palace, you do see people, but you don't see anyone in or around this building.
All right, yeah, I'll go out and see if I can't catch one of the attention of the guards.
All right, you can certainly do so. There are guards in and around the guard complex. There are guards at the front gate, and there are guards at the tower entrance, the Ashara, the actual royal palace there. Which of the guards would you like to attract the attention of?
I'll just walk right up to one of them.
Well, which ones?
Any of them, first one I see.
Well, you see them
Kind of
all
like
at
going to
once.
like a Home Depot and be like the first person I see to get any kind of help finding something. Be like,
Okay.
excuse me.
You see them all at once.
I'll go for
So-
whoever's closer.
All right, that would be the guard complex.
I thought I was already there. Gotcha.
Well, no, you're at the palace. You're at the second palace.
Oh, I thought I
So
said
there's three buildings in this courtyard. There's the guard complex, the Ashara, which is the main palace, and then this second palace. The second palace is empty, so you can go to the guard complex now. And yeah, there's plenty of guards there. You can get their attention. In fact, they are already looking at you.
I'll go up to one of them and be like, odd question. Would you be able to tell me where the queen might be?
Probably in her quarters.
Where would that be?
Why?
I'm gonna go apologize.
Uh-huh. He's just nodding, eyeballing you.
Could you tell me where she is, please? Point in direction, possibly?
In her quarters.
Could you point in the direction?
I'm not a tour guide. Go find her
Yeah.
handmaiden or something.
Honestly, looked around. I can't find anybody. That's why I'm here, sir.
Well, that's a shame, isn't it? Maybe just not your day, huh?
Look, I don't got all day. Can you please tell me where she is and point in the direction? I don't know where her.
I'm sorry, what'd
Quarters.
you say? Oh, what'd you say, Molly Mart?
I
She
said
likes the guy.
this guy.
He's a bit of a dick, and rightfully so.
All right. He, at this point, will put his hand on his sword and he says, "You gotta," or he'll say that, "Yeah, you gotta pardon, but you don't got permission to just come in here and do whatever. You're not the king of this place, okay?"
I'm not coming in here to do.
Queen.
I'm coming in here to apologize. Please tell me and show me. Just point. That's all you gotta do.
Wouldn't it can end up killing a room full of guards?
No.
Again.
I'm not gonna.
He's like, "Look, I'm busy. Just get out of here, all right? Or you want trouble? You want trouble again? How'd that work out last time for you, huh?"
Please.
"What do you want? I already told you she's in her quarters. What do you want?"
Just point. I don't know where her quarter. I've already went to her quarter.
Well, then
In
maybe
that building,
she doesn't
and
want
I
to talk to
pointed.
you. If you don't know where to find her, then maybe she just doesn't want to. She doesn't want to see you. She want to talk to you. It's not my job to tell you where she is, man. And I already did. Go find her handmaiden or something. Go find a panty or whatever, something. Anybody. Stop bugging me. Get out of here. You're not welcome here. You can see that there's a couple of other guards that are kind of circling around him. Like, yeah, we won't do anything because you got a king's pardon. But if you lay a finger on any of us, it'll go time.
I'm just waiting for the moment where Bahamut happens to walk by, and it's like, Oramus, what are you doing out here?
Trying not to kill a guard. No, I'm just kidding.
That or the Bahamut walks by with the Ormus dog piled with guards.
I'm assuming it's gonna happen. All right, so I know that I've already went to her quarters pretty much. You said right when I knocked on where I thought her quarters were, where I've
Yeah.
previously known where she was.
Yep,
Was
and nobody
no
answered
answer.
the door. Well, you went to where her quarters would be in the right palace, in the new, or rather the unused previously palace. But you didn't go to her previous quarters, or rather the quarters maybe she's still in the main.
Well, that's
palace,
what I
the one
assumed
next
that
to
we
the
were
king.
going. That I was going to was because I said that I was going to where I knew she was previously.
Oh, see, I thought you went to where you knew that she was now.
No, previously.
Okay. Well, if you want to go to that one, yeah, that's the main palace. You can go there too.
Okay,
There's a lot of people there though. But yeah,
that's
you
fine.
can pass by a couple of guards to the main door, having puffed away from the guard complex, and you
Yeah,
can
because
see that there's the normal retainers of servants and lackeys in the sort of lobby area, refreshments being handed out because it's always lunchtime somewhere. And in
there's always
fact,
5 o'clock
you see
somewhere.
Penny on the stairwell as you come in.
Oh, okay. I'm not even gonna interact with him.
Well, he
I'm gonna
stops
go.
you from going up the stairs. Kind of gets in your way with the handout and saying, "And your business here, sir?"
I'm just gonna look at him, walk past him.
He continues to move into your way.
Just do like I was gonna do like one of those things where like your sibling steps on the stairs and you just like kind of like squirm past.
He continues to move into your way. He does not give you a clear path. You will have to go quickly around him or risk knocking him over, but he is moving in front of you.
Well, as long as I keep getting a step each time, that's fine.
Well, I mean, you have to go through him at some point. He's in front of you. Yeah, you move to the side, he moves to the side. He is actively moving in front of you.
How big is he?
He's pretty small, relatively. I mean, he's typical sort of lanky human butler.
I'm so tempted just to pick him up, turn around, and put him down, and just continue walking.
You imagine that he is welcome to that opportunity to
Yeah,
call the
I'm
authorities.
sure. I'm just gonna look at him and be like, I'm just going to go say I'm sorry to the queen, like I told the guards.
The queen is not here.
Then I have business with Bahamut too, or Nika.
And neither of them are here either.
Then I can wait by their room. You can have
They
a guard
don't
there
have
with me.
rooms here.
You can put guards with me. I will wait there until the queen comes back. And Nika.
The queen and the Lord Bahamut have gone into the other tower. And he motions
I was
through the wall in the direction of another building.
just there. Nobody was there.
Well, that is between you and them. I serve the king. I no longer serve the queen.
Then it's
I only
none of your
know that she
business
is
in
not
there.
in this building.
How close am I to that building, to her room?
I mean, you're sort of like on the ground floor. You'd have to go up quite a ways and then go around the building to be able to get to it.
Is it within 500 feet?
Yes, it is within 500 feet.
Okay. If I go outside, is it still within 500 feet?
Yes.
Okay. I'll step outside in Dimension Door when nobody's looking.
All
I'm
right.
sure people are going to be watching, but
Do you go outside of the gates, or do you just walk around like the tower until nobody can see you?
just around the tower till nobody can see me.
Okay. Yeah. Soon enough, poof, you find yourself in the empty previous quarters of the queen.
Well, I wasn't going to go to the quarters house. She could
Oh,
be naked.
Where did you want to go?
I was going to go to the outside of the door.
Okay. You find yourself outside of the quarters of the queen, or the former quarters of the queen.
All right. Just knock. If nobody answer, then I'll just go to the quarters.
Yeah, you continue to get no answer.
Okay. Appreciate it.
All right. What would you like to do now?
She's going to go to Mika's. Not Mika's. Fucking Irini's.
All right. On your way down the steps, Panny sees you, and you can see that he's very not happy that you somehow snuck past him or got up somehow, but he has nothing to call the guards for. But you can see he's just boiling in anger that you somehow got up there. but he doesn't have anything that he can yell, essentially. But
Just
as soon as you're past him, he will run up the stairs.
I'm just gonna nonchalantly walk past him, look at him, give him a smile, and just continue on.
Yeah, as soon as you're past him, he runs up the stairs quickly.
Did Ormus ever get his equipment back? Yeah, you got your equipment back at the end of last session. I forgot.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Everybody's got their stuff except for the bow.
He runs upstairs.
I was
That when he's upstairs, I'm gonna just turn around and kind of follow him.
I was
Up the
gonna
stairs.
Yeah, because he's going up there for something. I'm curious.
Okay.
He's going up to see what you did.
Probably,
Yeah.
but if he goes to the queen, if she's there, then I'll be able to be like, ah, there you are.
You follow him up, and he bursts through the king's quarters doors, and he goes, my liege, my king, are you well?" And the king is, basically the king is fine.
Once I hear that, I'd be like, God damn it, and just go down.
Penny explains that assassin, he was here, and you hear him saying that as you go back downstairs.
Roll my eyes. Continue on.
You have
Okay.
your head of eyes. You could just turn into Penny for no reason.
That'd be funny.
I thought it'd be funny as when he saw you as you guys were passing, you just turned into him.
That'd be funny. But he'd probably have a reason to call the guards at that.
Yeah, impersonating a servant of the king.
Yep.
All
By the
right.
time by the time they come, you've turned back and like I don't know what he's talking about.
They'd probably take his word over mine.
Correct.
They know you can change your form.
Exactly. Yeah. All right. So you head back to Arenes.
Yep.
Okay. Soon enough, Ormus arrives and joins you, Molly Morton, Fionn.
All
So-
that I was like saying, so we decided on the name Blue Tempest. Maybe we should make some kind of emblem so people can recognize us as being from the same group.
That sounds awesome.
Theon looks up at Ormus walking in. So how'd it go?
I decided to say fuck it.
What did it take? Why did it take so long then?
Well, I went to go see the queen, but I couldn't find her, so I just came back.
Oh, we had tea with the queen. It was amicable.
That's good. Hopefully it went well.
Yeah, we were given permission to borrow some horses and stuff.
That'll be useful.
Yeah.
Yeah. So whenever you're ready, we can head out and get going because we have the Everett right here, and yeah.
I really should have scryed on Real or maybe Lee or Aldrin last night before I went to sleep.
Well, we got the night. I'll remind you if you forget again.
Alright. It was a late night, a long night, so.
Yeah, it's
All our minds
understandable.
was elsewhere.
So, heading out straight away, or other things to accomplish?
I got nothing else.
I would like to inform Marini that, well, I'll check with Fionn first, that Bahamut got his soul thing back.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, I almost forgot, but you know he could tell it was on me. So good.
Oh, good. Them dragon eyes.
Oh yeah, it's still a little bit unnerving, but you know.
Unnerving, yeah, but you get used to it. Arini says, and she says, "So you're heading out right away?"
Should be, yeah. We want to, you know, make up as much time as we can. They've got 3 days on us.
Yeah,
Actually,
morning daylight.
how long did it take to get from the port that we pulled into to Hope the first time?
So depending on how quickly someone is moving, you know that you could make it in 3 days. If they're 3 days ahead, it's likely that they're at the port or going to be getting there very soon.
So
And you
if
know too that this is, well, again, it's about a 3 to 5 days ride, depending on pace, to be able to get to the the neck of a river, and then from there you take a long ferry ride down the river to the ocean. So if they are if they're moving at a very quick pace, they're likely at or will be at very soon the kind of a sort of a river settlement, and then from there they'll likely be taking a boat downriver, and who knows how long they'll be at the shore from there. That's assuming they go the same path you did.
yeah, so it's safe to assume that they're probably that or I don't know where that sentence was going. I apologize. My question was going to be, how long do you think it would take, you know, with our setup of with the writ, you know, getting fresh horses as often as we can?
If they've got mounts available, and if there are enough mounts available as you're going, you could probably get there in maybe 2 days. It's about 80 miles or so, 70 or 80 miles. And so if there's a lot of fresh horses as you're going, and if you really travel hard and like some long days, you could do it in 2 days. Although usually like the fast caravans will do it in 3, but most of the slower caravans do it in about 5.
And I'm a yeah I'm. Let's start that over. I apologize. I don't know why I'm so struggling. So, uh, it's probably safe to assume they got decent passage from the money that they got from the king.
Almost certainly.
Yeah. So 3 days. Yeah, they're probably at the ferry at the very least by now.
It's possible.
So Fionn will, you know, kind of brief everybody. So my plan is ride hard, we ride fast, we try and close as much distance as possible. Basically goes over the, you know, statistics of the days that it took us. Like we might be able to do it in 2 days, I think, but we got to get going now. So
Okay,
you guys good to go?
I'm ready.
Yeah, I'm set.
All right, let's head over to the stable, and he'll kind of nod. He'll nod and slight bow to Arini. Head out the door.
Thank you for your hospitality, Arini.
You're welcome anytime. So, now when you get to the royal stables, you're able to present it. They check. It does seem to be a real seal. They shrug and start preparing horses for you and hand it back to you so that you can pass it on at the next stations.
I put it deep in my bag, probably about the same place that I had the crystal for Bahamut, because I do not want it getting stolen or falling out or, you know, all that kind of.
Mm-hmm. Certainly. So in terms of riding arrangements, it's written out for 2 horses, as you asked for. Who rides on what?
I propose that Molly ride with Ormus because less weight. By myself, I'm like 340 pounds.
I second that.
All right. So, I don't know how familiar with animals is Ormus and Fionn.
I
I'd
have
probably be fairly familiar since I was one of the Knights of Bricata. They can assume that'd be part of the training.
Probably. And you,
Okay.
Fionn?
I have a +5 to animal handling, so I imagine I probably would have gotten some training in the order.
I can give Ormus some guidance for him.
Fiona's
Whether he
traveled.
wants it or not. Go on.
Hmm?
Luke.
Fiona's traveled a lot. He might have picked up, horse riding as part of his travel.
It's certainly possible. Sorry. So go ahead and make. Let's see. So yeah, Fionn, make an animal handling check. Now, how do you want to arrange it? Ormus, do you want to be in control of the horse, or Polymort, do you want to be in control of the horse? Like
I
how's
would
that?
kind of love to be in control.
Oh my god, okay.
Anyway,
Sorry, I rolled a 1 for a total of 5, or a total
It's
of
fine.
6.
yeah, it's fine. So Ormus, would you let Mollymort steer while you just basically keep her from falling off?
Yeah.
Fair enough. So Mollymort, would you please make a animal handling check? And if there's any amount of guidance or uh, druidic plus or anything that could aid Fionn, I think you would probably appreciate it.
I'm definitely gonna do at least guidance. I rolled a 24 for myself.
Okay.
You could probably talk to the horse to kind of help Fionn out a little bit.
Guidance gives a plus 1d4, right?
Correct. I did not prepare any spells for talking to animals or anything like that, so
Okay.
maybe it would be better if you did physical dice for a while.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
So
I couldn't find my dice tray, and I didn't want to throw my dice everywhere, because I got the plastic desk, so they roll pretty far.
I've got the yawns. Anyway, so you all can start out with relatively fresh horses and begin going. I think Fion's a little too eager and is pushing the horse a little too fast, too quick, and trying to make it go. But with Mollymort there, you're able to keep a bit of a better pace. But you suspect that if Mollymort were not there to essentially keep you paced back, you likely would have wore out this horse way too fast.
Yeah, I don't know if this will make any difference to the roll or whatnot, but can I, because animals can understand me, I just don't have any special inclination to understand them. Can I, just talk to the horse and be like, hey, I'm sorry, I got a little overeager. We, got stuff to do and, blah, blah, blah.
I don't know why I'm yawning so much. Yeah, you can if you like.
Yeah.
I mean, of course, anyone could do that, but
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, I have the guarantee that it will understand my words, whether or not it means anything to it,
I thought it was more with small beasts.
Actually, I can check that, because
Yeah, for forest gnomes. Fearbolgs get beast and plants.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, basically just say to it, hey, I'm sorry, I'll go a little easier. I'm just trying to get the most out of our daylight.
Hey,
Please
you
work with
have
me here.
advantage on that animal handling check, I think. Well, okay, not so much that. It's more of a charisma, but it does give you advantage. So yeah, go ahead and roll again.
I'm gonna roll a
Because
physical
you
dice
have
this
advantage
time,
on the
because
checks you make to influence them.
Yeah, I'm gonna roll with physical dice this time because, yeah, Discord hates me today.
Okay.
Well, that was an 8. So 8 plus 5 is 13?
Plus
Or
1,
plus 1, so 14 total?
much better. Yeah. You start out trying to push this thing a little hard, but as you try to keep pace with Molly Mort, you explain the situation, and it settles in a bit more, and it continues on at a fairly long pace. You don't know what difference it made, but you certainly can feel better about it. But that helps. About 40 minutes into it, though, you pass by at a distance. It seems a bit odd. A small figure on a donkey, essentially. And as you get closer, you recognize the blonde hair of a particular dwarf that you had bumped into again yesterday. If you wanted to anybody wanted to wave at him a little bit or anything, through Maul, uh, the bard,
Yeah, Fiona
seemingly
wave.
going home.
I'll wave too.
All right.
Is he heading the same way or the opposite way of us?
He's going north because you saw him at the inn yesterday, and he might have just been in town for a short amount of time, but he seems to be going north again. You know that his family's inn is not too far to the north.
Hey, Fion, you want to pick up Hitchhiker?
Fiona pales a little bit. No time.
I can polymorph his horse, donkey.
Fiona doesn't say anything, just continues to ride.
All right, let's carry on then.
He waves as you all go past and continues along at a relatively slow pace. So, let's see. You're able to continue on for quite a bit, and you come into the Horse's Hall. If you recall, the Horse's Hall is a small town or rather, a small inn that you had stayed at before. It was a relatively large stable, and you're absolutely certain that they will have horses to trade out here. This is also where Mollymort had run into a fellow gnome, also a bit of a magical gnome, and you also ran into a couple of dragonborn here. But you don't have to stay. You could just pass on the writ, or rather, show the writ and get horses and continue on. But that's the first place that you find to stop.
We should probably let the horses rest, and we need to sleep too, right? How long has it been?
It's been somewhere in the neighborhood of probably about 3 hours.
Oh,
It's been.
Yeah, so just change out horses and continue on.
yeah. As much as I want to see Mara again.
I'm sorry, it's just Fiona's so, like, you know.
Yeah, we have a gold chase.
Right. Keeping focused on the task ahead, you're able to switch out your horses and continue further north immediately, not stopping for creature comforts and continuing on further. You pass by after several hours, and I'll add basically, well, okay. Do either of you ask where the next horses could be found, or do you just go?
I honestly think I would have just gone.
Yeah, probably same, actually.
Okay. You ride the horses quite a bit, and you can tell that they're starting to tire out. And um, after that point, actually, you had, or rather, as they begin to tire out, you come up to the Pilgrim and Purse, which is the inn where actually that Thrumal's family owns. But the horses, you know that they could go longer, but they'll have to slow down their pace. But you haven't seen anything in the way of a royal stable or anything that might be able to switch out horses yet. So continue on.
Well, if we want to keep up a good pace, let me check something real quick.
Yeah, basically, of course, if you ride the horse too hard, it will suffer exhaustion just like a player would. And that is the risk of continuing to go quickly.
I wish polymorph lasted more than 1 hour.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, if the horses have to take a rest, they have to take a rest, you know? There's not much we can do about it.
They don't necessarily have to take a rest yet. They've just got to slow down.
Oh yeah, that's fine.
Yeah,
Just-
because you've been kind of going at kind of the faster pace, the kind of as fast as you could reasonably push them, and they're starting to get real tired. So they got to slow down before they become exhausted.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's give them a break.
All right. So by this point, you've been going somewhere in the neighborhood of about 6 hours or so.
Do you think a healing spell might be able to restore some of their vigor? Restoration, maybe?
Restoration maybe, but I don't think healing would.
Yeah, you know that restoration would probably do it, but normal healing, no, because it's not so much an injury. Luckily, at least, it's something else. So, when you continue on, instead of about 3 hours where it was before, now it turns into going about 4 or 5 hours, and you've basically been going on the move for almost 12 hours now. And you come into an area that you know to be, or rather, it's a relatively smaller area that you know to be the home of the Drunken Minstrel, where you stopped before. But this area does have a stable, and you could change out your horses here.
Yes, please.
All right. Now, of course, you woke up and you went about looking at town. That probably took you about an hour, hour and a half total, maybe tops, plus a little bit of talking with Irini, getting everything. And then now 12 hours of writing, and of course, getting everything else originally. It's coming up on a pretty long day. And in fact, it's gotten to the point where the sun is setting, essentially. But they will give you horses, and you can continue on. But basically, if you continue to ride through the night, you're going to be pretty darn tired tomorrow. Just throwing it out there.
If we take a long break, then I can prepare lesser restoration for the horses.
And you have fresh horses here as well. And you know that you're almost there. It'll only take a couple more hours to actually get there.
If you want to rest, Molly, Leon can probably continue on.
How many more hours should it take on the... How many?
If you're riding the horses, if you go at a decent pace and you really pace it out, it probably won't take more than maybe 3 hours.
I think we should go for it.
Yeah, I mean, you're still riding them pretty hard, but you can make it in about that time.
I mean, if we can, yeah.
Yeah, they'll be fresh horses, so.
Well, from there you'll be at the river. If you need horses, you'll have to be running along the river, or you could just get a barge or something to float you down the river. Or for all you know, Real will be there. You can just, job done.
Well, then we'll need to get a barge anyways, because then that's how he'll have been traveling.
Mm-hmm. Possibly. You don't know. You haven't scried on him in a while.
The horses could probably go faster than the barge anyway if we just follow along the river.
That's possible as well. The horses can go faster than a barge just floating down the river. But a barge can travel 24 hours a day.
I mean, yeah, I think we should push it.
Well, if hold on. How fast does a barge go?
It depends on which season and how fast the river is going, but probably not more than maybe 1, 2, maybe 3 miles an hour. It's barely faster than walking, but it can move large amounts of cargo, and it moves as long as the water is moving, which is all the time.
Okay. I can cast water breathing and walk on water. So if we do catch up to them, then or if the horses get all rode out and it would be frankly faster for us to go on foot, then we can go that way.
On water also could be cast on the horses.
Interesting idea.
So continuing north.
Yeah, I vote for that.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, you can continue your way north after exchanging horses, and you can get in somewhere in the neighborhood of around midnight or so to essentially the last settlement on the road at the end of the river. Ironically, or rather not ironically, in a small town called River's End. And you don't see Real if you just look around. You do see several warehouses. Looks like they've been building a couple of more in the past couple of weeks since you've been here. They're continuing to establish things more, likely the King's doing. You see that the Broken Arrow is well lit, likely with patrons. That's the inn, the main inn here. And you do see that there are a couple of barges at dock.
Well, how long have we been riding? Just over a day?
Yeah, you've basically been going all day. Assuming you left at around 9 a.m., you've been going for a while.
There is a chance that they haven't left yet. We should probably check the inn and stuff.
Yeah.
I was gonna suggest we talk around, see if I can find out about two drow.
I imagine if they're here, they might draw a crowd, so they shouldn't be too hard to spot.
Yeah. I say we not split up for this because in case it becomes, it comes to blows, because I doubt Real's willing to give up that bow.
Yeah.
So yeah, what do you say we check the inn first?
Probably. I mean, it is late in the evening. They probably have drinks there as well.
I'm gonna use my hat of disguise, just to disguise myself as a normal blonde human.
Okay.
This way they won't at least see one of us.
I will pull my hat down over my ears so they don't look as pointy, or so they aren't visible as being pointy, and hope that works to make me look like a more normal person.
A more normal, very small person.
I mean, I might be mistaken for a child.
It's
Yeah,
possible.
I'll that's a good idea, Ormus. And I speak my command word and disguise self into would it be possible to do like a person that looks like Ormus's brother, kind of like what his changed disguise self looks like?
Yes.
Yeah, so like that, like, similar enough to where it's like, oh, they're probably brothers or something.
Yeah, you can do that.
Or Miss, I'm gonna ride on your shoulders, okay?
Alright.
All right. Now that you have assembled a strange new family, what would you like to do? Take a look at the inn?
Yeah, ask around, because if they've already left, they definitely left a mark. Like, see, you don't see Drow above ground a lot.
All right. So do you go in and get a table, or do you go in and start inquiring, or what?
I'd probably order a drink first.
Well, yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Is like Fionn would go through and order a drink from, like, walk up to the bar, order a drink from the bartender, and then ask, has he seen anybody who fits their description?
While she's pouring your drink, Winnie thinks, and I don't think so. And she gives you your drink.
I will.
Do you guys have rotating shifts by any chance?
She shakes her head. Mollymort, you're gonna say?
I will whisper at Ormus that he can disguise himself.
Yeah, I was going to ask if I can
Skin
insight
tone as
check
well.
that in case they, paid for discretion. Discretion.
Are you all bounty hunters, or?
Oh no, we just we heard tell of, you know, strange people and kind of wanted to take look ourselves. Not much happens out here.
Well, I can ask Cece, see if she's seen anybody. Hang on. And she goes over to a doorway, which almost certainly leads to a kitchen, and gives a call out. Hans, people got some questions. And a shorter woman comes out. You have met both of them before, and this is Cece. You can hear her coming towards you with all of her jewelry on her, clinking, but she comes forward easily a foot and a half shorter than the other woman, and she looks at you all. Y'all need something?
Snacks?
Pardon?
Can I get some snacks?
She says, yeah, of course. Winnie can help you with that. Anything else?
Yeah, we were just curious. We heard a couple of guys, a guy and a woman came through here, and yeah, I give the description. Have you seen them around here?
She shakes her head. Says, no, I haven't seen anyone like that, no.
That sounds like there might be a butt there.
She shrugs.
Behind her.
And you
Yeah.
can see that Winnie is putting together essentially a couple of a bit of a platter of things. That seems to have some boiled eggs and some sausage and some kind of a cheese and some rye biscuits and stuff like that.
Can I insight their responses to not having seen those people? See if they're
Yeah,
lying.
sure.
Not natural 20.
They seem to be genuine. I mean, they don't seem to be deceptive at all. They doesn't seem like they've seen anyone like that.
Okay.
Okay, can I roll to see if they might have seen anybody else strange that, like, these aren't the people, but yeah, we've seen some strange people around here.
I mean, do you want to ask them if they've seen any strange people?
No, I just kind of wanted to see if there might be a little something else that brought to her.
Sure, you can roll.
I'm gonna ask too if how many barge masters or barge owners there are.
What would that roll be for? Insight?
Yes, that could be insight.
22.
Okay. Yeah, they don't seem to be having any reaction whatsoever to what y'all guys are asking, except just kind of confusion and shrugging and trying their best to put snacks together for you.
Darn.
But Winnie says, as she's kind of preparing, as I said, a bit of a plate of food, that she's not really sure. Maybe 7 or 8. It depends. They kind of go back and forth, and they're building more barges, so there'll be more captains soon enough.
How many are in town here?
She says, "Oh, I don't know. I, maybe somebody down at the dock will be able to help you. I'm not really sure."
Okay. Just curious. Might need passage. So.
And she says, "Yeah, she says that if you go down, you can see them when they're on the river. You can tell where they are. You can go ask them. So this comes with a drink for a silver. What do y'all want to drink?"
Can you just fill our water canteens? We'll pay for it, and
Oh, sure. And she gives you a plate that has, as I said, a couple of well, it's not so much a plate, but more like it's a container. It's a kind of bag that's got some boiled egg, sausage, some kind of cheese. As I said, the biscuits, and she easily fills your canteens and water containers.
I thank her.
She thanks you.
right. Well, we'll head on out of here. Get out of you guys' hair. Like my brother here said, we gotta try and secure some passage. And Fionn starts to head out.
And she nods and says, "All right, well, come back anytime." And as you leave, you can hear her say to Cece, "Well, those are some strange folk."
It's not the first time we've heard that about us, so.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is when we're looking a little more normal, at least I'd hope.
So, having resolved that, what would you like to do?
Next logical step, go down to the dock and ask around for, see if anybody matching their description has got a recent passage.
I'll remind you, it's a little after midnight at this point.
Oh, okay, it's that late.
Humans are notoriously. There are probably not many of them out there working. But
They
you know that,
see in the dark.
yes.
Yeah,
but
well,
you
I mean,
know-
I was thinking it was like maybe 10, maybe 11 o'clock, but if it's like midnight, then I would say that we just rest
Yeah.
for the night.
Yeah, well, you're basically, it took you like 14 hours on horseback to get here.
Yeah.
It's been a very
Well-
long day. So,
Well, while we're here, we might as well get rest.
Yeah, because there's not likely going to be passage that we can get until the morning anyway, so.
mm-hmm.
Could you say fuck it, ride on now, follow the river, just get rest, but rest.
I mean, it's late enough. I say we grab a rest. I'll probably just, set my bag out under some trees if you guys are wanting to camp with me.
Sure.
Yeah, I'll just kind of watch over him.
Do you return the horses to the stable?
Yeah, that probably would have been the first thing we would have done, I imagine.
Okay. Yeah, I was just double checking.
Yeah, because I know we didn't. We didn't say, "Geez, what is wrong with me today?"
All right, so y'all go far enough outside of town that you can pitch a camp without being disturbed.
Yeah, I imagine probably a 20, 30-minute walk out of town. Not too far.
Okay. Do you want to go across the river or same side as the river?
I would say same side as the river.
Okay. Well, same side of the river. Like you came from the south, So basically, go to the south instead of the north.
Yeah,
Okay, and somewhere off the road, I'm guessing.
yeah.
Okay.
Also, you guys feel free to pitch in. I just,
No, that sounds great to me, and I'm camping out with you.
Oramus, camping out.
Yeah.
All right.
and
You all can make camp. We go on, Fion.
the last thing I'll do before we go to sleep for the night is cast alarm over our area.
Okay, you can certainly do so. And you all can make camp and get some rest after a long day.
Before we go to sleep, we're gonna look at Theon and be like, "Hey, you want to see a neat trick?"
He'll glance over and see if Molly is asleep yet.
Probably, honestly. She wants to reset, prepare some different spells, so she'll get to sleep pretty.
Okay, yeah, sure. What is it?
Just gonna go invisible.
And
Then I'm gonna not be invisible. Then I'm gonna go invisible again. Then I'm not gonna be invisible. Then I'm gonna go invisible again. Like, I can do it as much as I want.
Theon goes, "Oh yeah, that's pretty cool," and he takes a step back and goes invisible.
Hey, what is it called? One with shadows, right?
Nah, for me it's it's my racial of hidden step.
Nice. I can only do it in darkness or dim light, but
Yeah, for me it only lasts 6 seconds or
Well, Fion, I'll remind you, your ring allows you to do almost the same thing as
yeah,
well.
true.
I just remembered I want to scry at night, so I do want to do that tonight.
Who would you like to scry on?
I should probably scry on Real or Zilra? Who do you guys think?
I'd say real.
you
He
did
actually has the
Zaelra
bow.
last time.
Yeah, I'll do Real.
All right. Let's see. What is your spell save DC?
Who, me?
No, Molly.
No.
15?
Okay. If your spell save DC is 15, and I believe you're familiar with the target, so that's a +5 to the DC. Let's see here. All right. You, when you scry in, don't see much of anything. You can see that the dark vision is still active, so it's dark wherever he is. It doesn't flood out your vision like had occurred at another time where you were in a light space and someone was in a dark space. And you're able to focus in, and you can see the shape of Real. And he seems to be sleeping, which you think is either because of jet lag or something akin to it, or maybe he is getting used to this whole sun thing. But he is sleeping.
I can't get any idea of the kind of area he might be in.
Roll maybe a investigation check.
Not great.
What'd you get?
5.
With
Now,
a 5, the one certain thing that you can discern is the sound of water.
Is this can we still like join in and watch over the scry, or was that because of the eye? I can't.
It depends on how Molly Mort did it. If she wants it to be open to you all to view, then yes. If not, then no.
I feel like I would have done this while Fion was kind of setting up camp. So I wouldn't have really said, hey guys, you want to join? I would have just done it.
Yeah, that makes sense.
All right. But as I said, the one thing you can discern is that he is in a bed, or something akin to it. He is asleep. He is in a room, and you can hear water.
Well then, should I scry on Lee or Aladrin as well?
Yeah, I would say Lee, because I don't think we've done Lee in a while.
You said he's in a room, right?
Yes.
He might be here.
Oh, I like that emblem, by the way.
Yeah, I like it too.
Thank you. I would be very happy if that ended up being our envelope. Though I have an updated version of it that's a little bit better. Maybe when you're scrying on him, Lee is drawing a picture of the emblem in his book.
Would you like to scry on Lee, Mollymart?
Well, I would point out that I think it's been about as long as I think I've seen Aladrin just a little bit more recently than Lee, but not by much.
Well, Aladrin, unless you had scryed on him, which I don't think you have, since he left, or did you?
I have not.
Yeah, so he left separately from you guys. So you saw Lee about a day after you saw Aladrin. So there's about a 1 day difference in terms of how long since you've seen them.
And Lee was not supposed to be gone for very long. He knew Aladrin was supposed to be gone, but Lee was supposed to come right back.
Yeah, that's true. I guess I'll scry on Lee.
Okay. So let's see. You'd see here, if a target knows you're casting the spell, it can fail knowing saving throw voluntarily. See, that's always a tricky one. I don't think it's possible for Lee to know that you're casting the spell.
Yeah, me neither.
Anything that would you have the ring that could give you a much higher,
Yeah. So
I-
you've got basically a +9 to the DC, Lee.
Okay.
So you have to roll over a 24.
I might actually do that. I'm a little worried about that. Is it possible to make it higher with Fiona having Lee's toenail clipping collection?
One object can be applied.
Okay.
Well, yeah, but if you have a body part, it's a 10 instead of a 4. So I'm giving you -5. Basically, to Lee's save, it's a -5 because you're familiar, and also a -4 because of a possession. I'm giving you both.
I'm sorry, I had to step away for a second. What was the possession?
A ring that Lee gave me, platinum ring.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
I was hoping to try to cheese the AC higher by saying that Fiona is holding on to Lee's toenail collection.
But no. But yeah, so Lee, you go ahead and roll a wisdom saving throw, -9.
All right, just a second. Let me find my dice.
Okay.
Yeah, because the dice bot is being mean today.
I don't know what my modifier is, but I rolled really high, so this might not be good. Well,
What'd you
Lee
roll?
has a negative wisdom. I rolled a 19 on the die, but I have to check what my plus is.
Do you think
I
it
think
might
it's
be
pretty-
+5 or?
If it's a +5, I don't think. Sorry, I don't think it is. I have a -1 to wisdom.
Does your paladin deal give you any pluses to a wisdom saving throw?
Yeah, I think I have proficiency in it, and if I'm conscious, my aura protection.
Yeah, what's your proficiency bonus?
And
Hold
do you think you would be conscious right about now?
I was kind of hoping to be conscious, but I'll check.
It is well after midnight too, Lee.
Yeah, no, Lee goes to bed early. Damn
Yeah,
it.
it's like 1 or 2 in the morning, so you're probably unconscious.
Lee doesn't
Damn,
really
Lee, boy.
stay up. Okay, my plus to wisdom while conscious is a +6, but while unconscious, it's a +3.
Okay. And then
Barely fail.
your proficiency adds to that as well.
That's already adding my proficiency.
What's your proficiency bonus?
I have a +4 like everyone else, but I have a
Okay.
1 to dex or to wisdom, but I can add my charisma modifier while conscious.
So because you are asleep, the scrying succeeds. If you were
Not
conscious,
another one.
then it would not. So,
All right. Awesome.
yep, Mollymort, you see Lee swinging in a kind of hammock, clutching a book on which there's a page drawn that emblem. He seems to have fallen asleep while drawing it and been rocked to sleep. And you can also hear water here, as well as creaking as the ship is moving. Looks to be a rather small, cramped ship. He's got a couple of versions drawn in the book.
All right, that one just turned out a little bit better.
But you see him, he seems alive and well. You don't see. You do see some dwarves around him. You don't see anyone you recognize. And you can't really tell where he is or what kind of ship it is really even, but you can tell from the sway of everyone that it's clearly moving and you can hear the splashing of water.
All right, I'll kind of give a briefing of that to the group.
The question is, what the hell is he doing on a boat?
Well, he was going to get the net, so it kind of makes sense.
True.
Is anyone confused about Lee being on a ship, or any comments or questions about that from the group?
No, I think Fionn wouldn't question it.
Yeah,
Just
I don't
like-
think Molly would read it.
Yeah,
I think my only question would be is if you got the net or not.
You don't see a net.
Or a goat or a Philbin, but
Yeah, you also don't see Philbin.
That's a little concerning.
yeah. Maybe next time we scry, we should scry on Philbin.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea.
All right.
All right, I'm gonna go to bed, and then you guys can do your invisibility shenanigans.
So,
You tell people that witches over the rail. You keep that to yourself.
Do I tell people what?
that what you saw with
what
when
you
scrying on Real.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
So he's inside. There's water. He possibly could.
Yeah, I mean, chances are he got the barge, but you know, we can walk faster than a barge does. But you know, once we get fresh horses, I believe we'll be able to catch up in the morning.
Yeah.
Hopefully, we can still. I still want to ask some of the barge captains if they bought transportation already or not.
Yeah, it would be
It's kind
good
of
to
an
know
idea.
what kind of transportation they have, or you know, what ship, etc., etc.
But of course, it's unlikely that one captain would know what another captain bargained.
Also,
Yeah.
it's past midnight already.
Well, that's just when we get up.
Gotcha, okay.
We already made the decision that nobody's gonna be up, so not even gonna bother.
All right. So
Oh.
y'all settle in or go on?
I would like to note that I would put my dragon armor back on.
Okay. The battle skin Mollymort is ready. So, you all settle in for a long rest.
Yes.
At a certain point, after everyone is kind of settling in, Fionn, you hear a voice in your head, but we can talk about that later. Um, Meanwhile, Lee, you are spending your first day out on this ship. You got a long way to go. You know it's going to be probably at least a couple of weeks. Most of the crew is dwarves. There's a couple of elves. You've spoken a little bit with the captain, the captain of the Amelia, and he seems to be a nice fellow, but overall, he's very terse. He's very specific. How are you spending your time aboard?
I don't think Lee really knows how to like not do something. He
Mm-hmm.
kind of like has to keep himself busy. So if he probably first day he's probably trying to find things that he can help with. Like they told him not to help, that he's a passenger, but like he just keeps like going up and like trying to help with things anyway. Be like, oh, I can help with that, you know.
Mm-hmm. They begin giving you the most basic of simple works. Like, okay, fine. How about unfurl the rope, let it dry out, and then coil it back up, kind of thing. Or sweeping, even at certain points, mopping. Just giving you the simplest of tasks just to keep you away because your incessant asking to help is more annoying than your help. So they will just let you help out with some tasks.
That is very within Lee's character. Yeah, he'll happily do the work, whether it's actually helping.
And as basically evening, the first sort of evening ashore, or rather at sea, comes around, Captain Gravelbeard, or Borgin, as you've spoken with him, he'll come over as everyone else is getting meals, and he'll say, remember, part of your bargain was that you would have your own provisions, none of our food.
Of course. I have a couple days rations. This is out of character. I have a couple days rations. I could have been eating those.
Mm-hmm.
But I think I will ask, and I'll probably ask this every day until the answer is yes. Have you emptied out any of the food barrels yet?
Not yet. Not on one day. You looking for a container?
Yes. If you have an empty container, I can definitely use it.
He says, would this be something that would damage the container?
No.
Would you be
If
having it permanently?
No, I'm simply borrowing it, and if I were to cause damage to it, I would of course pay you for it.
This is acceptable. What size container are you looking for?
Um, like, what are their food in? It's like in those big barrels, that they have big barrels of water or whatever.
There's a couple of large barrels, yeah.
I don't know if they'll run through that quick enough. Let me check this.
Yeah, you check the spell. You suspect that they probably, I mean, realistically, they only have a couple of days worth of water and food at a time.
Okay.
So it's likely that they will run dry and empty within a day or two.
Okay. Yeah, if you've got any open containers, I take one. A 30 gallon barrel or whatever. I don't know how big a barrel is. More than 30 gallons.
Yeah, a 30-gallon barrel is pretty big. Pretty big. But
I'm not gonna use that much, so I think I'm just gonna say, yeah, if you can just find a container. I guess like 10 gallons. Do I see a container that I think would be acceptable to make my food daily? Make my food
Well,
and water in.
realistically speaking, you could make your food and water just with your water skin or a backpack. Like you can cause the water to manifest in any open container, and that can include just a bucket. You can make it work no matter what.
You know what? I'll just ask for a bucket. Can I have that bucket? I'll point at a bucket.
The
Just
muck
borrow it from
bucket.
my. Yeah, that's probably not a good idea. Do you have a cleaner bucket?
He says, if this is for waste, we have a special bucket set aside so that they don't get mingled.
Ah, yeah. Just if you have a bucket that you're not using, I could really use it.
He says, this is a small ship. We must um, make water and such with everyone. We are not providing an individual bucket for your own use.
I
Simply to soil.
I put a hand up and say, I see I haven't been clear enough. I do magic. I clarify.
I don't think I understand.
I
Magical buckets?
I open up my backpack and I cast create food and water. I open up my wine skin or my water skin in my backpack and just like let it fill.
He watches as a tremendous amount of bland food begins to overflow in your backpack.
Understand?
He moves forward with a hand and he says, is this an illusion? And he actually
No,
grasps basically like a potato roll.
take some. It's not very good, but it'll keep me fed.
He gives it a sniff. He gives it a bite. I see. Could you do this for everyone?
I could. I would be glad to. I can only make 45 pounds of food and 30 gallons of water, though, but if you can provide me with open containers, I can give you that.
45 pounds of food?
Yes. I can, up to 15 people.
That's very impressive and useful.
I can only do it once a day, though, so.
Once a day?
Yes.
He raises his voice. He says, there are some stops that we will need to make, but this will greatly change our travel situation. We normally need to stop every few days at ports to get fresh provisions. This is
That would be preferable to me. I am trying to make good time.
He nods and says, I'm not, while I greatly appreciate that, how much would it cost for you to do this?
For you allowing me passage on your ship for a significantly and being upfront with me for a reasonable price, I would be willing to do this for free.
He nods and he says, of course, your fare will be adjusted based on the shorter time.
I thank you. I thank you for that.
He eats the roll.
Can I ask for your discretion on this matter as well? The I I'm not necessarily trying to keep it a secret, but having magics of this sort, it's just better to not go around and share that information just with anybody.
Of course, this is a wondrous thing. I will keep my discretion as long as I can.
And I'll go back to mopping.
All right.
There's something
You
so
go back to
wonderful.
mopping. The captain speaks to some of the crew in Elvish, and you can hear him say, We have a blessed miracle worker amongst us who can offer us plentiful food. Do please supplement your rations with his backpack food. And some of the crew come over to
His backpack food.
pick up food from your endless backpack of nutrition, essentially.
The food's not very good.
They don't care. It's you think the rations on this ship are much better? This is a man that does not waste money on salt.
Fair, yeah, this food would probably be fine if you put salt on it, but there is no salt on the ship.
Yeah. So
If
this
they want
food,
to make-
this food is akin to the other food, but now there is more of it, and it's free.
Ooh, you know what? I bet during the day, Lee scraped some of the salt crust off of the ship and like has it like in a container and is like, "Here, you're gonna put some salt on it."
You could very well do that. Yes. You can get yourself, some sort of a glass container and allow the sun to boil out some of the salt water, and you can have yourself some fresh sea salt. Not especially the clean stuff, but where you could boil it out with. Okay, now I'm thinking too much about alchemy and creating salt in D&D. Sorry. So yeah, you could certainly do that, but overall, after your first day is done, I assume at some point you retire to the hammock. Is there anything else you would like to do during the day?
Be honest, I really wanted to find a way to continue Lee's swimming training. Maybe early in the morning, Lee would, before all this happened, Lee would ask if he could uh, get off of the ship. Does Lee think that he could keep pace with the ship if he got off to swim?
Lee might think that, but at the same time, he might not. He might also remember that even Aladrin tied a rope around himself.
Okay. I guess he'd ask to get into the water and tie a rope around himself. He will remember
Wait,
that.
well, do you want to do that in the morning or this evening?
I guess he could wait until evening to do it, because evening is a better time to do it since he'll be going to sleep. He'll have the whole night ahead of him. Yeah, I'll do it at night. You're right.
So you're gonna tie a rope around yourself and jump overboard over at night?
Yeah, but I'm going to tell them I need to swim.
Okay.
I'll do that.
They'll let you. I mean, they're worried for you, of course. Do you want to tie the knots yourself, or do you ask them to tie them?
He will try to tie the knots.
Okay.
With his bad hands, probably realize at some point that he's not doing a very good job, and be like, "Can you help me with this?"
All right. They will help, and they will tie the knots. Okay. They tie a pretty good knot around you, and you can feel pretty secure that if anything happens to you, your carcass will continue to be dragged.
Good, good. Hey, now they kind of have a reason to try to keep me alive. They can pull me back on board.
Basically, yeah. So you want to get some swimming done?
I'll just swim behind the ship.
All right. You can certainly do that. Make an athletics check. All right. You find for the ship, as good as it is, you're able to keep pace and even beat it pretty easily. This is a pretty slow ship, and it's not too much of a problem for you. And it's small enough, in fact, that after you swim for quite a bit and it starts to get very, very dark, what with there being no stars anymore, you're able to climb aboard after they have lit some sort of signal lights and lanterns around the ship. But other than that, it's just complete inky darkness in every other direction.
Yeah, the only day I've missed of swimming was the one where I traveled to the blacksmith port and to the north. What was it called again?
When you were going to Rima Alora.
Rima Alora. I should write that down.
That's okay. I'm still working on the file that has all the locations and all the names. So But yeah, Rima Alora was the name of the town. After the swim, what would you like to do?
He's probably going to head to the hammock, and he's kind of missing his friend, so he'll do a little bit of writing and he'll think about the Blue Tempest.
And soon enough is rocked to sleep after drawing and sketching various things.
All right, awesome.
Indeed. And a couple of hours later, you yawn yourself awake. And you hear a voice travel through your mind. The familiar voice of um, a wizard that you may have been worried about or may have simply missed. But the voice of Philbin asks how you're doing and if you're done being an idiot. All right, we'll pick it up next week.
All right. I don't think Lee would have been worried because he thought that Philbin was with everybody else and was safe.
Fair enough. So, we will pick it up next week. Everyone good next week?
Should be.
I actually am not. I'm sorry.
Okay.